Welcome to the Travel Agent, Disney and Beyond, your Canadian connection to theme park news, travel information, practical tips, and vacation savings. I'm your host, Stephen Payne. On today's episode, we will explore Level 99 at Disney Springs, the recently announced Universal Nights at Epic Universe, and we will talk with special guest Nate Allen, the Strategic Accounts Manager of Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines for Central Ontario and the Atlantic Provinces, about the launch of the Legend of the Seas. Plus, stay tuned for the Canadian Compass Travel Tip of the Week and Deals Dish. If you want more information about cruising and travel, including the latest cruise promotions and limited time offers, subscribe to my Expedia Cruises personalized email newsletters. Simply click on Fan Mail and send me your name and email address, and I'll add you to my mailing list for the newsletter as well as for show updates and information. You can also email your name and address to the following email: stephen@thetravelagent.ca. Make sure you spell agent with an EH, because we're Canadian. That email, once again, is stephen@thetravelagent.ca. This information will also appear in the show notes. And now let's get on with the show. We'll start with Mouse Minutes. Now, I wanted to spend some time talking about Level 99. Level 99 opened on June 29th. You can find it on the west side of Disney Springs in Orlando, Florida. And it's the same building where Disney Quest used to be, which originally was a large building that had multiple floors and many video games. And back in the day, that was a lot of fun. And I know my kids really enjoyed it. And there were some very large video games that were in rooms, and you were part of the Pirates of the Caribbean story. But there were also the very typical classic arcade games like Pac-Man and all those kinds of things. It was a lot of fun. And that's the building we're dealing with. And that was also where there was the short-lived NBA experience, which was built right before COVID, and then COVID hit, and it never really caught on and it wasn't too popular. Level 99 is actually part of a chain, and the Disney Springs location is just one of 4 locations, actually. The 3 other locations are Maryland, Rhode Island, and Virginia. But Disney Springs is now the largest from that chain. It's basically a playground for adults and teens. Think of kind of like an escape room or escape room style activities, games rooms, that kind of thing. You've got axe dodging games, mind-bending puzzles and challenges and things like that. There are 63 rooms, many including player versus player duels. And along with these game rooms within this building, there's all kinds of bold and colorful artwork. In fact, Disney got about 23 artists from around the world to design the art installations. The artwork is very interesting. One of the activities that you can do for a game is an art hunt, in which you are basically involved in a scavenger hunt, and it's centered around the art pieces. Also, there is a 2-story bar serving handcrafted cocktails, Detroit-style pizza, and Wagyu burgers, and craveable snacks. Now, when you're playing the games, you are actually given an RFID bracelet. It's called a Velo Band. So what happens is you get this Velo Band. It's similar, if you've been to Disney before, similar to the idea of magic bands. You put the band on and you go around the different rooms in the building, and there's a scanner in front of the doorway, and you scan your band to enter. And each of these games lasts about 1 to 4 minutes. And you can go through these rooms in any order you wish. So you can choose which ones you want to visit, and there are rooms that you end up passing on that you won't go in, because obviously I don't think you're going to play all 63 rooms. And each of these rooms are designed to hold 2 to 6 players. So you can go with your team or your family and into these different rooms and do these various activities. Seems like a lot of fun. And you can go online and have a look at the different rooms that are available and the different kinds of activities that are there. You can certainly get some information about the kind of games. Now, the cost, and there is a cost, of course, it is starting at $29.99 in US dollars. And that will get you an interval of play. I believe for $29.99, you can get an interval of play between or at 1.5 hours. But you can actually get time or reserve a time slot of 1.5 hours up to 2.5 hours. So when you purchase the ticket, you'll be purchasing for a specific time block. Now, In case you're wondering, there is an allowance for a break. You can take a break of up to 30 minutes. And so that gives you the opportunity to go to the washroom, or, and I think this is what Disney would really like, or level 99 in this case, there's a chance for you to go to the bar and grab a snack or a drink, right? And so, yeah. So you spend about 2 hours there probably in total, unless you want to add to your time and take a longer time slot. So that sounds pretty good. I would be really interested in visiting Disney or level 99. So and that's going to be in my list of things to do next time I get out there to Orlando. Now let's take a look at Park Pulse, our second segment. And for Park Pulse this week, I wanted to talk about Universal Nights at Epic Universe. Disney World has offered limited nighttime ticketed events for over 10 years now. And that's a separately ticketed event. And when you buy your ticket and you're allowed to go in at about 7 o'clock in the evening, and the event actually starts at 9:30 or 10 o'clock and lasts about 3 hours. People like the nighttime events because they offer low crowds, because you have limited ticket sales, and there's some other perks that you get as well. So you get a selection of complimentary snacks, you can have some unique meet and greets, and there's sometimes unique entertainment during those evenings. So Disney fans have really enjoyed that experience. And not surprisingly, fans of Universal Parks have been asking for something similar to be offered at Universal Parks for quite a few years. Just recently, Universal has finally announced its own after-hours event. Universal is offering now what is called, as I mentioned, Universal Nights at Epic Universe. It is also a limited capacity event. Just like at Disney World with Universal Nights ticket, you can get into Epic Universe at about 7 o'clock. But the event officially runs from 9 p.m. to midnight. When you buy the ticket, you're buying officially for 3 hours, 9 p.m. to midnight, but because you can get in early, you're really getting 5 hours out of the ticket. But the event is limited to people who have tickets from 9 to midnight. Also similar to Disney, there will be a special meet and greet with Universal characters, and there will be unlimited snacks. In particular, you'll be able to get berry-flavored Celestial popcorn and crispy kimchi bao. You can down these snacks along with beverages from the Coca-Cola freestyle machines. So all that's included with your ticket. In addition, you'll be able to ride all the attractions with shorter lines during the event. They've announced 2 dates for this nighttime event that they've released so far. I suspect they'll release more unless things don't go very well. And the dates they've released are October the 3rd and October the 17th. I wanted to tell you about this today because if you have an interest and an opportunity to go, you need to know that tickets go on sale on August the 13th. And I would suspect that these events will sell out, especially because there's only 2 so far, and I think people are keen and eager to find out what they're all about. So if you're planning to go, you need to get your tickets as soon as they go on sale. You have to plan ahead. And if you're wondering about the pricing, well, as with all things theme park tickets, you'll need to pay up. Tickets for this event start at $179.99 USD. There definitely might be value to this event, though, as it would give you a chance to see the park at nighttime, which can be quite spectacular, especially when the windmill catches on fire in the dark universe. And there's a lighting package. There's a fabulous lighting package. Next week, I want to talk about the Universal Celestial Good Night, which is a new light and fireworks show along with fountains that Universal is running now. And so you'll be able to see that kind of thing. And also at nighttime, there's cooler evening temperatures. And of course, when you buy a ticket for this event, you won't have to fight the crowds that you might normally encounter in the daytime. So that also seems like a really good opportunity for those of you who might be interested. Now, in Cruise Contemplations, we are going to bring in our special guest. I'm with Nate Allen from Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines International. Welcome to the Travel Agent, Disney and Beyond, and thank you for being part of the podcast today. In case the listeners are wondering, tell us what your role is with Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines.
Sure. Thank you, Stephen. My role is I'm a strategic account manager here at Royal Caribbean in Canada. I work closely with our travel advisors, helping them stay informed about our products, our newest ships, our destination, our vacation experiences, so they can match their clients with the perfect cruise vacation.
Perfect. All right. I'm thinking that the inaugural sailing of the Legend of the Seas was on July 4th. Am I correct in that?
That is correct. Yeah, in the Mediterranean.
Perfect. So, what excites you the most about the new Royal Caribbean ship Legend of the Seas?
So what excites me the most about Legend of the Seas, it takes everything that our guests already love about our Icon class of ships, so the Icon and Star of the Seas, and elevates it even further. It's designed to be the ultimate family vacation, combining incredible thrills, relaxing spaces, world-class entertainment, and more dining choices than ever before. It's all in one ship.
That sounds great. I don't know if you remember this, but a couple of years ago we were on the Utopia of the Seas for its inaugural cruise, and since then you've released the Icon of the Seas and the Star of the Seas, and now it's Legend of the Seas. So I'm wondering if you can tell us how this Legend of the Seas compares with these other ships and other ships that are in your fleet.
So absolutely. So Legend of the Seas is the third Icon class ship in the Royal Caribbean fleet. Like Icon of the Seas and Star of the Seas, it features eight distinct neighborhoods, seven pools, Category 6 water park, an incredible mix of activities for every age. What makes the Legend unique is the introduces the new dining concepts like and new entertainment offerings, and several enhancements based on guest feedback from the earlier Icon class of ships. As you know, the Icon class is the largest class of ships in our fleet, and we have seven different classes of ships, all the way from our Vision class all the way up to the Icon. So we really have a ship basically for everyone.
Did you say level 6 water park? Is that what you said?
Category 6, yeah.
Category 6. What is that?
So we have six record-breaking water slides. We have two mat racer slides. We have two drop slides, one with the floor drops out. We also have two family raft slides where you can have up to three or four people per raft. It's the largest water park at sea. It is a lot of fun, and we really have a slide for everyone.
That sounds amazing.
And it's
I
all
guess,
complimentary.
yeah, I think I'll have to try that, and
Absolutely.
get the courage up and go through some of those slides. Yeah. Okay, so it is definitely one of your larger ships, and you folks have the largest ships, really, the cruise lines, cruise ships in the industry, I think. For some people, that causes them concern about the size of the ship, and they're worried about overcrowding. Is that an issue, do you think, on Legend of the Seas?
I think actually that's one of the biggest misconceptions about our ships. While Legend is the largest ship in the world, it intentionally is designed with spacious neighborhoods. So I mentioned before, it has eight distinctive neighborhoods that naturally spreads the guests throughout the ship. Rather than feeling crowded, guests often find these ships feel more open because of these neighborhoods. There's so many venues and pools and restaurants and entertainment options going on throughout the day, and outdoor spaces to choose from. The design really makes it easy for everyone to find their own favorite place on board.
Yeah, that's a question. I asked that question, but I kind of knew what your answer would be because when we
Mhm.
were on Utopia, at that time it was the second biggest ship in the world. And
Yep.
I was amazed at just all the nooks and crannies. Like it seemed like there was, you're in these independent locations that there's not necessarily a lot of people there, and you can kind of find these spots to go. And if you do want to go to the water parks and so on, you can go in there. But a nice walk in Central Park was pretty nice, and it just didn't feel overcrowded at all. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
think those neighborhoods really, really do help. Obviously, those were first introduced with the Oasis class, and then that same concept was brought over to the Icon class. And Central Park is probably one of my favorite or my favorite neighborhood on board the ship. In the Icon class, there's over 33,000 live plants and trees just in Central Park alone. So it's absolutely amazing, night and day during the daytime.
Yeah, I love the addition of plant life, if you want to call it that.
Mhm.
It just makes it feel a little more organic and a little, I don't know, just gives that a nice atmosphere, right?
Absolutely.
Now, I was going to ask you about sort of the new features because I think you kind of mentioned some of them, but we'll just drop in on this question about new features. So, what is new about Legend of the Seas that we're not seeing in the other ships?
So guests can look forward to some new experiences, including the new Hollywood Land Supper Club. That is an eight-course meal experience, a little more upper scale, based on the classic Hollywood. We have the brand new Royal Railway, which is an immersive dining experience on a railway car. We first introduced Royal Railway on um, Utopia of the Seas, and this is now the second ship that we have it on. It's all based on the immersive dining experience themed around Marco Polo's travels along the Silk Road. So it actually makes you feel like you're actually on a train going through Marco Polo's travels. It's an amazing dining experience. I highly recommend if anybody is on board Legend to try it out, or even Utopia. The ship also has refreshed dining venues, new entertainment productions, some new enhanced family accommodations as well. But it has a lot of the same features as Icon and Star as well.
Yeah, okay. What specifically can families expect? I think that a large part of your clientele would be families. How does the legend cater to families?
Well, families are really, I guess, the heart of the Icon experience. The ship includes, Surfside Neighborhood, which is a neighborhood designed specifically for young families. With the carousel, we have Splashaway Bay, Baby Bay, we have our arcades. We even have family dining experiences there as well. Our teen club. Families can enjoy the largest water park at sea, multiple pools. What else we have here? Entertainment of all ages. We also have the little in the Surfside Neighborhood. We also have the Admiral Awesome, sorry, that's it, Admiral Awesome, who really is there to basically do kids' activities, whether it's the steel pan jam or the block party or even doing the bedtime party at night. So we really do have a lot of things that really do cater to the family. But if you're not one of the younger children, we do have our flow riders, our mini golf, or our rock climbing walls, and of course, all of our entertainment is really catered for both the adults and the kids.
That sounds great. All right, and about room categories,
Mhm.
what are the types of rooms that are on this ship?
Yep. So Legend offers accommodations for every travel style and budget. Guests can choose from interior, ocean view, balcony staterooms, all the way up to our luxurious suites. Families will especially appreciate Royal Caribbean's family-focused accommodations, including Family Infinite balconies, which has sleeps up to six people. So we have our king bed or two twins. We have our pull-out couch, and we also have two bunk beds with their own little television, little nook in the back, with split bathrooms that provides a little extra space for those families. So we do have basically a stateroom for everyone, oversized interior, oversized balcony. So like I say, we do have a stateroom that can cater, from a double occupancy all the way up to our ultimate family townhouse, which is three levels that can have up to eight people within that stateroom.
Yeah, I saw that on the Utopia of the Seas. That was quite spectacular. So these staterooms that hold, say, six or five or six people that are infinite balconies, what is that category called? Is it oversized or is it family or what's the name of it?
So it's the Infinite Family Ocean View. We also have on the brand new up to the Legend. We also have the balcony family stateroom as well. So basically, the exact same stateroom that sleeps up to six people. One has the balcony and one has the infinite balcony. So two different categories. And the balcony category was actually just introduced back onto the Icon. So the Star of the Seas and the Icon of the Seas does not have that family stateroom.
Okay, good to know. All right, in terms of dining, I was going to ask you about dining, and you've
Mhm.
mentioned the Hollywood experience and the railway experience, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can expand on the Hollywood one a little more. I'm curious about what that's all about, and then maybe just tell us about generally what people can expect in terms of dining opportunities. I know that I have lots of friends who tell me that's their favorite part of a cruise.
Absolutely. Yeah, so dining is obviously one of the biggest highlights on board our ships. Legend of the Seas offers record-breaking 28 dining options, ranging from casual dining all the way to our specialty dining up to our upscale specialty restaurants. So we do have our brand new supper clubs on board our Icon class ship. So this is a brand new dining experience that was added to the Royal Caribbean fleet. On the Icon of the Seas, we have the Empire Supper Club. On the Star of the Seas, we have the Lincoln Supper Club. So obviously, Empire is based on the New York theme. Lincoln Supper Club is based on more of a Chicago theme. And then on the Legend of the Seas, that was just came out a couple weeks ago, we now have Hollywood Land Supper Club. So this is an immersive dining experience where you have your meal. It's paired with your cocktails, which is also paired with your live entertainment. So this is more of an upscale restaurant. A lot of the tables are tables of two because it's really meant to be more of a date night. It's not too many families involved in this particular dining option, but we do have a couple tables of four and a couple tables of six. But primarily, it's meant to be more of a date night. Majority of the tables are tables of two. It is a really cool experience. Like if you ever get on one of our Icon class ships, I highly recommend it. It's like I say, it's more of upper scale. Gentlemen have to wear jackets. It's it is an eight-course meal, is, and some of the people, I haven't tried it myself yet, but some of the people who have tried it on my team have said it's one of the best dining experiences they've ever had. But it's pretty amazing. It's a 2 to 3 hour experience.
I feel like if you're on the ship, you should do at least one specialty dining,
Mhm.
per cruise, because they're great experiences. I've had a few really good ones, and I'm just like, yeah, you have to spend a little extra money, but the experiences are great, and that one sounds fantastic. Like I think that would be memorable.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a great one, especially for the adults. Even Royal Railway is a great one for both the kids and the adults. However, Royal Railway is an awesome experience just for adults as well, because some of the kids won't really understand the whole Marco Polo
Yeah,
route. However, the whole experience of feeling like you're actually on a train car and all the windows are essentially like screens, and actually takes you back into those different lands. So on Royal Railway, it's all sorry, on Utopia, it's all based on the Western. So it's all about the Wild Wild West. So the meals cater to the Wild Wild West, all the sceneries of Wild Wild West. Now with Marco Polo, each place that he visits is going to be a different course. So for example, if you're in India, going through India, that course is going to be based on Indian food. Or if you're going through Italy, maybe it's dessert. That course is going to be based on that particular destination. So
that's a great idea, eh? Like just
absolutely.
that's a great way to build in different cuisines and really create a well-rounded experience. It'd be fun to try all the different courses and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'm actually going on Legend this fall, so I'm hoping I can get on to check that out.
Yeah, and the so all yeah, I guess I was going to say, so in the Hollywood Supper Club, for example, then
Mhm.
I guess would they be trying to theme the food out to the Hollywood theme? Would they be naming things, I guess, or
Mhm.
creating things that kind of relate to Hollywood in some way?
Absolutely. So the Empire Supper Club is based on more of that New York theme. So the food would be based on New York style. Then in Chicago, we have, sorry, the Lincoln Supper Club is based on that Chicago theme. And then Hollywood Land will also be themed on, the Land theme of that favorite cuisine. So yeah, it is catered to different locations. The next one we have coming out will be another themed area. I can't say it yet, but I know what it is, but it's going to be a different theme altogether. So each one will be very uniquely and different. The music will be different as well. It's all paired to those destinations.
I love the themed out restaurants and the themed out attractions and all that. So I like the direction. You know.
You have to kind of think out of the box, and that's one thing I think Royal Caribbean does really well is coming up with these new experiences, and not just we are very very family oriented. However, about 63% of our guests are not families on board our ships, and a lot of people don't realize that we have so many people that are coming on board our ships who are not bringing kids with them because we really do cater to everyone, whether you're multi-gen or you're coming on there for your your honeymoon or just bachelor party or kids party or even just adults going to have a fun weekend away or trip away without the kids. So we really do cater to everyone. And sometimes you don't understand that until you actually get on board the ship.
I think there's a perception out there, yeah, that okay, Royal is going to cater to families, but I would imagine that you might have to battle that perception a little bit, like you say, right?
We
If you
do,
have
yeah.
adults that are going to, or might be interested, but might hesitate because they think, oh, it's going to be kids everywhere, and I guess there are
Yeah,
going to be kids on board, but I mean, you
absolutely.
you know as well as I do, there's lots of like adult spaces you can escape to and so on, right?
Well, we do have our adults only areas on board our ship, but even like if you look at the promenade down the Icon class, we have Boleros, which is a Latin bar. Not too many kids are in there. We have our pub. Not too many kids are in there. We do have karaoke. We have family karaoke as well as regular karaoke. But we have a lot of venues that are really aren't catered towards the younger generation. But the other thing too is we also have a lot of itineraries and ships classes that really don't cater to a lot of kids. Like for example, I was on Symphony of the Seas hosting a seminar at sea. We went September 7th, I think it was 2024, and we're on the ship and there was hardly any kids on board because they had just gone back to school. Not a
Right.
lot of people want to take their
Yeah.
kids out of school the first week or two of school.
No.
So it felt like a completely different cruise because, there wasn't very many kids on board. Obviously, March break and Christmas, they're going to have a lot more kids. But even things like if you're taking a Norwegian Fjords cruise or, Northern British Isles cruise, even sometimes in Alaska doing like May, June before the kids get out of school or September, October. Those are great itineraries that don't have a lot of kids. So there's a lot of experiences, a lot of opportunity to be away from kids if you're not really a big fan, I guess you could
Yeah.
say. So other dining options as well as we have our Aquadome Market, which has five distinct complimentary food venues. Then we also have a lot of our returning favorites like Chops Grill, Giovanni's Italian Kitchen, Azumi and Hibachi, Hook Seafood. So there's a lot of different options, whether it's complimentary or specialty dining. We always have more complimentary options than we do have the specialty options, including Sorrento's Pizza, which is open from 11 a.m. all the way till 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yes, I've been there frequently, usually at late at night. It's my favorite little stop
It is
before I
a
go to
favorite
bed.
spot.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily good for my health, but eating pizza at 1 in the morning or something, but it's
You're on
delicious.
vacation, you don't worry about those things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. All right, so that sounds great. I was wondering too about entertainment. So, what kind of entertainment can people expect to see on Legend of the Seas?
Absolutely. So entertainment is truly next level. Guests can enjoy the aqua theater performances. We have our ice skating shows in Absolute Zero. We have live music. We have comedy shows, a full scale of theatrical productions. Legend is also debuting new entertainment offerings such as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is our brand new Broadway show. We have our brand new production in our skating show. We have a brand new production in our aqua theater. We also have a brand new parade down the promenade. So there's a lot of brand new entertainment going on all day and evening. Even just going into our pubs or we have karaoke. There's things going on all day and evening. Primarily, most of our productions are usually in the evening, but we do have some shows that are more kid focused in our Aqua Theater as well as in our Royal Theater, which happens around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we do cater to both the families as well as the adults.
And the Aqua Theater is located at the stern of the ship, right at the back.
No, so on the Oasis class it is, but on the Icon class, it's actually at the front of the ship at the very top. It's called the Aqua Dome. It's a brand new dome. It's on the top of the ship. It's completely indoors compared to the Oasis class, which has it on the stern outdoors. This really having it indoors really helps, temperature control. We don't have to worry about any rain delays or anything like that. But it's completely indoors. We have our professional divers diving from 80-foot platforms. We have synchronized swimmers. We have our robots and mechanical robots as well. We have, motorbikes in the cages. So there's a lot to explore on these ships, and the entertainment is next level.
Yeah, I encountered that on Utopia. I thought the entertainment was amazing. You're certainly not going to get bored, right? There's so much to do. It's just crazy.
Absolutely. Sometimes it's hard to even get everything done in a week. So that's a good thing. You won't be bored at all.
Yeah, not to mention there's a few ports that people might want to check out as well. So yeah, it's always busy. But that's good. That's kind of what you want in a vacation. Lots to do, or you can just take it easy and just relax by the pool.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed Coco Cay or Coco Key, depending on who's speaking. That's Royal's private island. Perfect Day at Coco Cay, it's called, right?
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, is that going to be part of the itinerary for Legend of the Seas?
Absolutely. So once Legend of the Seas begins sailing from Fort Lauderdale this fall, currently it's sailing the Mediterranean up until about the end of October. And then when it's making its way over to the Caribbean, all the itineraries will include a stop at Perfect Day at Coco Cay. It's Royal Caribbean's most popular destination and ranked our number one port of call. It perfectly complements our ship onboard experience with beautiful beaches, water parks, family attractions, and relaxing adults only areas. We have our Thrill Water Park. We have our Oasis Lagoon pool. Absolutely beautiful beaches. So there's really something for everyone. Some options are complimentary. Some options are paid, but there's a lot to do, and there's lots of things you can do there without having to spend any money.
Have you been on the tallest water slide on Perfect Day?
I was peer pressured to do this by one of my colleagues, and I did do it. It is a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. I'm glad I did it, and I will definitely do it again. It's a lot of fun. It's very fast. That's our Daredevil's Peak. It, was the tallest water slide in North America for quite a while, but it is absolutely amazing. We have 13 different water slides in Thrill Water Park. We have our wave pool. We have our mat racer slides. We have some tube slides as well. So we really do have something for everyone in that Thrill Water Park.
No, I'm glad to hear that you experienced that as well. I did it as also, and I remember I was about 3 seconds down the chute, and I felt like it was an out of body experience. I was going so fast at one point. I'm just like, this is insane, right?
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. The only problem is climbing the stairs to get to the top. That's a little bit of a trial. Yeah.
And that's how you work off the buffet from the ship. So
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So now you mentioned, you alluded to the itineraries. Can you just review again what the itineraries are so far for Legend of the Seas, so that as people look forward and consider sailing on Legend of the Seas, what are the itineraries they could look forward to?
yeah, so Legend of the Seas is currently sailing in Europe, doing the Mediterranean, offering 7-night Western Mediterranean sailings from either Barcelona or Rome. So it's an inner port where you can either go Barcelona to Barcelona or you can do Rome to Rome. Visiting iconic destinations like Italy, Spain, and France. Later, the ship will reposition, so we'll do the transatlantic over to Fort Lauderdale, where it will be home based. The one thing that's different about the Legend is it's going to do a 6 and 8 night Caribbean itinerary. So we'll do a 6 night Western Caribbean or an 8 night Southern Caribbean itinerary. And then next summer, it'll be making its way back over to Europe doing the Western Mediterranean. While it is in Fort Lauderdale, it will be making a stop at Perfect Day. It'll be doing Eastern and Western Caribbean itinerary. Sorry, Southern and Western itineraries.
Okay, that sounds good. Are there any specials going on right now for anybody who's interested in booking?
Absolutely. So we do have our 60% off second guest. In different parts of the year, we do have our kids sale free, and sometimes we do have our third and fourth guest sale free as well. So that just means that it can be any age, not just a child 12 and under. But we are always running different promotions at different times of the year. But those are our standard promotions: 60% off second guest. I always say book early because prices can go up over time and sell out. We're very fortunate that our ships have been pretty full, especially our Caribbean and European destinations. But I highly recommend taking advantage of some of these sales while you can, and book through Expedia Cruises.
It's fantastic. Thank you so much, Nate, for joining us today. I'm just listening to you talk about the ship makes me want to go on and experience some of these things. So we'll have to see what I can do. But thanks for telling us all about the ship, and we'll hope to chat with you again in the near future.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Stephen. Let's have a great day.
Okay, that was a fantastic segment. Thanks to Nate Allen for the interview. And now we move on to Canadian Compass Travel Tip of the Week. I wanted to talk about planning ahead today and how important that actually is. So through my own trips with my family and my work as a travel agent, I've definitely learned the importance of planning ahead. If you want to get the most out of your travel experience, it's best to start planning early. This realization started when I planned my first trip to Disney World with my family. You've probably heard, if you've not traveled to Disney yourself, that preparing for a trip to Disney World can be quite overwhelming. There's a lot to think about. That's where a knowledgeable travel agent can be so helpful, of course. But the bottom line is that there are many things that you should be aware of long before you arrive at the parks. For example, your window to book dining experiences in Disney World opens up 60 days before your arrival date. Now, this is a change in the last number of years, really since COVID. Before COVID, you used to be able to book 6 months in advance or 180 days in advance for your dining. So you really had to plan ahead then. Now it's at 60 days. There are some dining experiences that are extremely popular, and they begin filling up as soon as the date opens up and people start booking. So, for example, if you wanted to dine in Cinderella's Castle, you've got to be on top of that early on. I recommend that you book 60 days out and wake up early to start booking at 6 in the morning. That's when the bookings open up. And yeah, that's a kind of a pain to do, but when your vacation arrives, you're not going to be disappointed. You'll have all the things that you want to do lined up, and away you go. And if you're really averse to the idea of getting up at 6 in the morning to make your dining reservations, well, again, that's where a travel agent could be really helpful. They can do that work for you. For Disney, there's lots of other planning to do as well. You can book attractions ahead of time. You can plan to catch shows, and you can plan your day so you can maximize it by thinking ahead about the order of the attractions that you're going to visit. Now, planning ahead also applies to general traveling. Last summer, I cruised on the Disney Fantasy with stops in Spain and Italy. I wanted to see the Colosseum in Rome, of course, and I wanted to see Gaudi's Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. Now, both of these tourist spots are exceedingly busy. So I knew that I would have to take note of when the tickets became available for both of these things. And I was on the computer as soon as the tickets became available. So for the Colosseum tickets, they go on sale exactly 30 days in advance for when you want to arrive. And, it's a lot like getting Taylor Swift tickets for the Coliseum. It's so popular. Now, you could book a tour, and a lot of times if you're booking with a legitimate tour supplier, you can book the tour and then they provide tickets for you to get into the Coliseum, and that it's more expensive, but it's very helpful. But if you want to go directly to the Coliseum site and get the basic ticket price, that's when you have to plan ahead. So as I was saying, it's kind of like getting Taylor Swift tickets. It was exceedingly difficult. In fact, I wasn't completely satisfied with my experience because I wanted to actually go underground. So when you're at the Coliseum, you can actually get a tour, or you can tour around, a self-guided tour, the underground, underneath the floor of the Coliseum. So the cells and the cages that they had underneath where they kept the animals and so on. And that's originally what I wanted to get. But I couldn't because, some of you may have had this experience before. I'd put the tickets in my cart, but before I could cash out, they were gone. I did get tickets to the Coliseum, but they were tickets to see it from the upper levels. And that was great. But, the tickets go so quickly. So you just have to know to plan in advance, put it in your calendar, and book. And the same goes for the Sagrada Familia. The tickets go on sale about 60 days in advance for that. And I also had to be on my computer at that time to book those tickets. And recently I helped a client book train tickets in Portugal. And it was important to get those 60 days in advance as well. That's when they went on sale. And the key for that was that there were early booking discounts that were available when you book early, but you wouldn't get that discount if you were booking closer to your arrival dates. So again, you can really, by planning ahead, you can really benefit. As a final example, a lot of my clients want to travel during March break. I recommend to all my clients who want to book these kinds of getaways to book very early. That's the way to go. There's dynamic pricing at play with the airfare in particular. And so pricing is linked to demand, and the more seats that are sold, the more price goes up. And you can imagine it's March break. A lot of people want to travel during March break, or say at Christmas time is another good example. And so the closer you get to the dates, the prices just get driven higher and higher. A lot of the all-inclusive packages, pricing, they just go up and up in price the later you leave it. And, I have people ask me about getting special deals or, last minute sales. But in particular, if you're looking to go on March break or Christmas, that's just not going to happen. It doesn't happen at the best of times. And if there is a special deal, it's usually on properties that aren't selling because people don't like them all that much. So if you want a desirable location or somewhere that you can rely on, you're best just to book early. For March break, it's easily a year early would be fantastic. I have seen packages go up over $1,000 for clients in just a matter of days. I had someone a couple of years ago, or about a year ago maybe, who decided to wait before they booked. And then when we went back to book it, the price had gone up, like I say, over $1,000. So, if you're going to go away March break, think ahead, plan early, get the best pricing. So start early, plan ahead. For our final segment, let's do the deals dish. Today I wanted to talk about Disney Cruise Line's Canadian Residents Discount, which says you can save up to 25% on select sailings. It's important to note that this discount, as it says, is found only on certain itineraries. So perhaps look to plan around available dates if you can do that, so you can take advantage of the offer, because it's a good offer. The itineraries in this offer are 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 nights. The time frame is from now, and there's some that have already passed, but right now until May 2027, there's cruises that are discounted. Options are Bahamian cruises, Baja cruises, Western and Eastern Caribbean cruises, Pacific Coast cruises, and Alaskan cruises. Departure ports include Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Port Canaveral, Florida, San Diego, California, Galveston, Texas, and Vancouver, British Columbia. Now, it's also important to know that the discounts are applied to select room categories. So you have to know what room categories to look at to find the discounts. It's not necessarily all the rooms. For example, concierge rooms don't have those discounts on them. So Disney cruises are a little more expensive. It's a bit of an investment, but it's worth it. You get a great experience. But finding a way to save money makes the experience much more manageable. And as Canadians, we have this particular discount that we can take advantage of it. And as I say, it's a good one. Do feel free to send me an email if you'd like help finding a Disney cruise with a Canadian discount. You can email me at stephen@thetraveleagent.ca. That's Stephen, Stephen, at thetraveleagent.ca. And remember, if you're going to spell agent, we're Canadian, so it's Ehgent. Next week, you'll want to tune in to hear my in-depth interview with Natalia Yetsenko about her trip to the Riviera Maya, where she stayed at the all-inclusive resort, Iberostar Waves, Paraiso Beach. Natalia gives us lots of information about her stay and offers us some tips about excursions and dining experiences. Of course, we'll also have the other usual segments that I like to have in the show, the Mouse Minutes, Park Pulse, Cruise Contemplations, and Deals Dish. They'll all be part of next week's episode, so be sure to tune in. If you're enjoying the information and inspiration provided in this show, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or any other podcast reviewing platform. That would help a lot. Links to the show's page and to Apple Podcasts can be found in the show notes, along with some other links that would come in handy. And also, you can feel free to follow my Instagram. Just search up @TheTravelAgent. Well, it's time to wrap up for today. Thanks to Nate Allen again for that fantastic interview about Legend of the Seas. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep planning, and keep exploring.